adventurers of the high skies and seekers of airborne mysteries. Welcome back to Boo! Spooky Horror Stories. Today, we're embarking on a journey that will challenge your nerves and electrify your imagination. Before we soar into the chilling saga of Flight Fright, 30,000 Feet of Fear, remember to hit that like button as if it's your parachute to safety, and subscribe to join our crew of the courageous. Don't miss our weekly horror stories. Brace yourselves, fasten your seatbelts. It's time to ascend into the turbulent tale of Flight Fright, 30,000 Feet of Fear. It all started as a joke, really. Jake and Lisa, vlogging their way from London's Heathrow to JFK, giggled about the oddball a few rows back. Zombie apocalypse, right? Jake chuckled, panning his phone camera from Lisa's bright smile to the disheveled man sweating profusely in seat 32B. The plane hummed with the soft whispers of passengers and the clinking of drink carts. As the flight eased into the night sky, the couple discussed their New York itinerary, their voices a soft murmur over the white noise of the engines. An hour in, the man from 32B staggered down the aisle, his gaunt face ashen, eyes hollow and bloodshot. "Is there a doctor on board?" The flight attendant's voice, usually so controlled, wavered with unmistakable urgency. A young woman in a navy blazer stood, following the attendant to the man now slumped in his seat. Jake filmed, curiosity piqued. "Gonna get some live action here," he whispered, the vlogger in him unable to resist. Lisa frowned, sensing the gravity, her enjoyment of the trip slipping away like sand through fingers. "The doctor, Dr. Gupta," announced herself, her voice steady. She checked the man's vitals, called for assistance, and requested medical supplies. Her professionalism was a temporary balm, a reassurance that the situation was under control. Then the unthinkable happened. In the midst of her examination, the man convulsed violently. Lisa's hand flew to her mouth, stifling a scream as the man's teeth sunk into Dr. Gupta's neck. Blood spurted, a visceral fountain of horror and chaos erupted. Screams pierced the drone of the engines. The flight attendants rushed forward, but it was too late. Dr. Gupta, clutching her wound, staggered and fell, her blood painting the aisle a stark crimson. Panic consumed the cabin. A primal, guttural terror that clawed at the confines of the aircraft. Jake and Lisa clutched each other, the phone dropped and forgotten as the scene unfolded. "What do we do?" Lisa's voice was a hoarse whisper, barely audible over the cacophony of fear. "We help," Jake said, his decision immediate and unflinching. Together, they moved toward the chaos. The flight attendants were struggling to contain the situation, their training ill-equipped for such a nightmare. Jake and Lisa joined in, trying to barricade the area, to offer aid to the injured. But then Dr. Gupta rose, her eyes now a milky white, her movements jerky and unnatural. The infection, virulent and unfathomable, had taken hold. She lunged at a nearby passenger, and another scream tore through the air. "Contain them!" The pilot's voice crackled over the intercom. "We're making an emergency landing." Lisa, with a presence of mind she didn't know she possessed, directed passengers to use their belts to tie down the two infected. Jake, meanwhile, helped the crew move the injured to safety. Lisa's directive had seemed like a stroke of genius, and for a moment, there was a collective breath of hope among the passengers. But it was a fragile hope, shattered in an instant when Jake's gaze fell on one of the flight attendants. Her sleeve was torn, revealing a deep bite, angry and red. She was pale, trembling, and then convulsing. The infection was ruthless, spreading faster than fear itself. Jake's heart plummeted. "Another one's turned!" he shouted, a desperate edge to his voice. He grabbed the closest thing he could find, a serving tray, and used it as a shield. Lisa, beside him, pulled seat cushions free, handing them out as makeshift barriers. The attendant's transformation was rapid, her humanity slipping away as she turned on the passengers. Her once calm voice was now a guttural snarl, her hands clawing at anything within reach. Lisa and Jake, with terror as their cruel compass, pushed forward, driving the growing number of infected back. The narrow plane aisle became a battleground, each step a fight for survival. Passengers who had been bitten, their wounds unnoticed in the commotion, now rose, their eyes void of all but hunger. Chaos reigned, the line between the living and the undead blurring as more joined the horde of brainless zombies. Lisa and Jake worked in tandem, their movements synchronized by the unspoken understanding that had always underscored their relationship. "Move!" We have to block them! Jake yelled over the cacophony, his voice barely cutting through the din of terror. They retreated to the business class cabin, heaving luggage and drink carts to form a barricade. With every ounce of strength, they pushed against the advancing horde, the weight of the undead pushing back like a tidal wave of pure instinct. The other passengers, driven by the primal urge to survive, joined in. Together, they formed a human fortress, each person a brick in a hastily constructed wall of desperation. They used everything they could, bags, carts, even their own bodies, to keep the zombies at bay. But the creatures were relentless, their numbers growing as the infection spread through bites and scratches. The living were pushed back, inch by inch, their resolve tested, their energy waning. Jake and Lisa, once confident in their makeshift defenses, felt the cold tendrils of despair as their sanctuary shrank around them. They were now the only two unturned souls in a plane full of zombies. Their barricade at the front of the plane, a fragile shield by the locked cockpit door, was all that stood between them and annihilation. There was no escape, no secret hatch or hidden exit. Jake's gaze met Lisa's, and the truth hung silently between them. "I love you," he said, the words heavy with finality. But the horror had one more cruel twist to deliver. Lisa's eyes, once full of determination, now shimmered with a different emotion, regret. Without warning, she lunged forward, her teeth sinking into Jake's neck. She had been bitten, the venom of the undead coursing through her veins, turning her even as she sought to protect him. Jake's cry was lost in the din of the undead, a symphony of the end times. The pilot's announcement, promising aid, promising rescue, was a cruel joke played too late. "We've landed. Help is on the way. Hold on," he urged, but for Jake and Lisa, there was nothing to hold on to. The plane came to a halt on the tarmac, a screech of metal that signaled the end of the flight but not the terror. As the SWAT team breached the cabin, they found no survivors, only the lingering remnants of chaos and the turned, including Jake and Lisa, who were dispatched with the same precision as the others. The nightmare on the plane was over, the threat neutralized. As the sun's first rays stretched over the horizon, it cast light on a scene of finality. The dawn of a new day was a stark contrast to the darkness inside the cabin, a darkness that would haunt the memories of all who witnessed it. Thus concludes the eerie tale of Flight Fright, 30,000 Feet of Fear. A chilling journey where the unfathomable became reality, leaving no survivors in its wake. This airborne nightmare reminds us of the fragility of life and the relentless nature of unforeseen horrors. We invite your reflections on this high-altitude horror in the comments below. If you're drawn to stories that delve into the depths of fear and the unknown, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. Join us next time for more narratives that explore the darker corners of reality and the human psyche. Until our next unsettling encounter in the realms of the inexplicable, remember, the tales we tell are echoes of our deepest fears and unspoken truths. Thank you for watching.